to try and target. Take us through this lap, Stark.
Sure thing, buddy. As we see Wiggles coming now through turn 3. Looks very, very tidy as we see to come across the next sector. 17.5. So it's fairly strong opening sector there from Wiggles. And here we go into the long straight where we had DRS and everything open, trying to get as much top speed as you can before you come into the next braking zone, which is just before the 100-meter board, just as we see here, dropped down all the way into 4th gear, just about getting it stopped in time, with just about hitting the apex. A very well driven corner there from Mr. Wiggles, as it comes down into the next straight with DRS zone open now into sector 3, and the second time is a 53.0, so it's not the fastest that we've seen as of yet. There's still more enough room for the Mercedes to improve. Into the hotel section, the long technical bit where it's so easy to lose the back end if you take too much with the curve. We're onto the off-camber dual left-handers, one after another through the hotel section. And the Mercedes comes round the TP corner through the penultimate round now and into the final corner. I know you're a fan of that one, but are we going to be a fan of Mr. Wiggles' lap as he comes across the line? And he does a 23.5. That's a
better
lovely
than last
time.
one then. Better than his last lap. So very good for Mr. Wiggles there. John John's second.
Last time, TD.
Say that again?
2/10 off last year's pole time, TD.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Deflated is on a good lap time. I think he's a 10th up on Mr. Wiggles. So we could see this going even faster. Maybe close to that pole time. But a slow last sector.
His a few tenths.
IIRL then next to the line in the Red Bull, the champion of last season. Because as the line goes second fastest. And IIRL, I know, will be hunting down that pole position as he has never had a pole position in IIRL. You tell me how that's happened. I will never know.
Oh, and 1010 has lost it.
Oh dear.
On his time lap in the Williams, so he won't have the advantage of having a banker lap done.
He's just
but
gonna
he's still coming around to finish his time anyway.
I think he's just... He knows that he's obviously going to improve through Sector 3, but he wants to keep the delta time for most of the lap anyway.
Well, to keep him ahead, it means he'll be ahead of John Hales at least.
he liked to go for that little spin there, just a bit too much through turn 3. Hales going for maybe a double warm-up here in the Alpine.
He's done a much better lap now.
Yeah, going under the hotel section now, the tricky double left. Keeping it very close to the white line, but keeping it within the track limits. Through the flat right now, in 6th gear. Through the final corner he goes, into 5th gear, using out of the track limits, and goes 7th fastest for the time being. If he does go any faster than what he first has done, he might need to, if he wants to be in contention for pole, going through turn 1 then. Looking up at the apex, but oh, good run's a little bit wide there. Taking too much apex, so maybe that is definitely his lap over, so he does have time to go around again, so maybe this is just tactical. Turn 3, looking up the apex very bravely, through a little kink of turn 4 and into turn 5. He is a smidgen down on his first sector, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem for him. Opens the DRS then, going down the long back straight. And we'll be wanting to get the best exit out of the chicane coming up. Hooks the inside very nicely, gets good traction out of the chicane, using all the track limits possible, opening DRS, keeping it tight to the inside. What will really do through sector 2, and he is a 10th and a half up at the minute. So this is currently good enough to go on to provisional pole. To see yellow flag in sector 3, maybe just a bit of traffic getting out of the way. Oh, and he locks his brakes
gone wide there.
Yeah, locks his brakes, and that is his lap over really. And
that's curtains. I mean, he'll only get as high as 3rd now because he's he won't get the ERS back, and he's just
I don't
Conveniently
exactly know what he's
decided to
doing
go
at
off
the
track
minute.
there.
I don't know what he's doing, but he just needs to go back to the pits. Joseph Hales going fastest.
Oh, what a lap there. That's beautiful.
John coming to the line and can't beat Joseph Hales. So this is a very good lap time by Joseph Hales here. Could this be Joseph's first pole position? Mr. Colucci then going to be the next to the line. What can Colucci do? Goes 8th fastest. Good lap time there by Colucci. Who's going to be next to the line? He's here. 3 tenths up on his lap time at the minute.
It's a little bit wide going through that right-hander though, so that will definitely cost him some time, which is a shame because he's about 3 tenths up on his best as the Aston goes wide. How did he keep that uninvalidated?
He's lucky there, but he does go back above Colucci. 10:10 and the next on his lap time is a 10th and a half up through the middle sectors, so we know he's definitely going to improve. But what can he do compared to Joseph Hales then? Championship lead, a bit of a wiggle there. And he does go above Joseph, just about. And that is going to be hard to beat. Ross comes to the line and can't improve. Smaller Smiley then is improving, but only goes to 7th fastest. Mr. Wiggles then next to the line comes into the pits. What can Deflated Wee do? Deflated Wee comes into the pits.
Thoroughly enjoyed that.
From last week. Joseph has 3 poles. Oh, I thought he didn't have any, to be honest with you. But yeah, 10:10 on pole. Joseph in P2. John P3 for second in the championship. Mr. Wiggles P4. IIRacingLeague missing out once again by a smidgen for his first pole in P5. Tamino P6. Smaller Smiley P7. Deflated Wee P8. Hissy P9. And Mr. Clouchy in P10. But if you look at that,
I just noticed the top 8. They're all different constructors as well.
Yeah, very good. Top 9.
As we see 5 flights coming on. They've gone out. It's lights out and away we go. And it's not a bad start from TD, but Joseph Hales already takes the lead in the Alpine. Oh, there's contact. John is round. And oh, that's such a shame. Last week's race winner has made contact with John. Once again, another Ferrari's made contact behind. That's Tamino as well. So we got 2 of the big qualifiers today, and they are, oh, that's such a shame for them. But sadly, first lap collisions do happen in Formula 1, and sadly, it has happened for 2 of our top qualifiers this particular round. However, this man, Joseph Hales in the Alpine, has made an absolutely blistering start. And IIRacingLeague behind 10:10 in 4th place in the Red Bull. Deflated Wee is up into 5th. Prev is up into 6th. Hissy fights with the Ferrari of Colucci for 7th and 8th. Smaller Smiley is falling down to 9th place, trying to stay out the way of the contact. Flu has gotten up into 10th position in the Alpine. So both Alpines occupying the top 10. If the top 10 were revealed, the rest of the field would be in an Alpine sandwich at the moment.
Yeah, very, very chaotic start at the minute. The top 2 in the championship making contact. One staying in 3rd, one going down to 19th, and that'll be definitely one for the stewards to have a look at. Oh, and to Mr. Colucci going round there at Latifi corner, and he's in the middle of the track there, so that isn't optimal for everyone else, but that is probably the worst start for the Ferrari boys, down to 19th and 20th with Ferrari land right back.
Oh, look at that.
IIRacingLeague getting past her on the outside of 10:10 there. Oh, and IIRacingLeague spins! Oh, and 10:10 spins!
And now 10:10's lost it!
They both just span on the exit of the same corner. And that is IIRacingLeague down to 12th, and 10:10 not losing quite as many, going down to 8th place. And that is quite unusual for them two, from this season anyway. You don't really see them both spinning at one corner, but that is...
What is going on this race? There's only been 2 laps and already plenty of stuff happening. As we come on board with Mr. Wiggles, that was a bad exit there from Joseph Hales in the Alpine. It's about 2 tenths now, the gap between the Alpine and the Mercedes as they come round into the next sector here. Only 3 tenths separates the pair of them. But with Mr. Wiggles getting a brilliant run outside of the corner, I have a feeling this could be game, set and match before they come into the next sector. DRS is open, and the Alpine can do very little to defend. He sensibly doesn't fight in too much there. We'll get a second bite of the cherry when DRS is activated again for the next sector. But with that, Mr. Wiggles for now gets himself into the lead in the Mercedes.
See what Joseph can do then going down this second DRS straight. Can he get close enough to gain up to Mr. Wiggles? It looks like he's gaining, but he just isn't quite gaining enough at the minute. So that'll be Joseph sticking in P2 with deflated wheel sniffing all over the back of that Alpine. I tell you who has had a good start. Prevenel was knocked out in Q1, I think it was, and Q2 it was, and he's already up into P4. I know he is on the mediums, but that is an absolutely brilliant start from Prev. And it looks like it again, deflated. He's right on the back of him, looks towards the outside. Can't quite get the move done at the minute. Oh, and nearly has a spin
a little
there.
bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, a little bit.
I have to say, brilliant bit of defensive driving from Joseph Hales.
Yeah, we've seen it from Joseph. Oh, Previn a little bit wide there. Yeah, but we've seen it from Joseph in the past. He's very good at defending his position, and he will do anything to keep this second place at the minute.
Looks like behind him, Richie Yen manages to get out of the way. So that's John Joe back up to 16th. IIRL J is now into 8th place. So I got a feeling there'll definitely be an incident reported by the stewards there. And I have to say, penalty may be coming IIRL J's way. Crucially for Joseph Hales, he's 3/10 ahead, but deflated we will have DRS coming into the corner, and he is flashing behind in the Alpine. Can he defend this? He goes round to the outside, forces him to do the switchback, but oh, that's another brilliant exit there. It looks like the Haas will have him fully checked off. Lovely bit of tactical driving there from deflated wee, and he's got the move done way before they go over to the corner. The Haas up to second.
Lovely stuff there from deflated. Up to second now from 80's starting place in 8th, and I'll be chasing down that Mercedes and going for a race win once again. Towards Smaller Smiley now, getting towards that crossover, and this could definitely give the advantage to Smaller Smiley.
Prev goes wide again. He's got to be careful of doing that, because it's almost as if, like, if you go that wide, you could gain advantage from a traction perspective. And it looks like another spin for Tamino in the Ferrari, and it's safe to say his race, unless there's a safety car, is more or less in the mud. It's a shame, really, because he did very, very well in qualifying to get to where he got.
Just hasn't been the race for Tamino. Hasn't quite really been the season so far compared to last.
Dhabi. Let's see how the Williams fares against the Aston Martin in a straight line. DRS is open.
Tintin is gaining, but not too much at the minute.
Yeah, he just needs to keep it clean. As Hissy goes wide, and that is going to set up Williams brilliantly
vulnerable
for an overtake.
He already goes to the right to defend, making sure Tintin don't get the slipstream. Tintin then going to the inside. I guess he could just be making it an easy overtake there for Tintin.
Yeah, I think it was almost like Hissy kind of let him through there.
Possibly just sensible driving, just trying to have his own race.
But yeah, I think he knows the fight's not with 10-10 there. So Hissy has always been a very sensible driver, especially since I've raced with him, and just making sure to stay out of people's way, which is obviously the courteous thing to do.
He's one of those drivers that you'd love to race against. He is one of the cleanest, I'd say, and one of definitely the most sensible.
I mean, he was AT2 champion for a reason.
It don't come that easy, does it?
Nope. So there we go. We have Smaller Smiley coming round in the final corner there in 4th place. 10-10 now passes Prevenel, who now comes into the pits. And Smaller Smiley has spun it. That is such a shame. The Alfa Romeo, in all its infinite wisdom, has dropped down to 7th place after spinning the car, and that is seriously going to hamper his race chances there, as Tamino once again, I think he's lost his front wing, so it looks like his race has gone absolutely Pete Tong down there. And to come down to the front,
Camino getting another 5-second penalty. I don't exactly know what he's doing at the minute. Oh, IIRacing going down the inside.
Oh, this is getting close, isn't it? Look at that.
Nice move from IIRacing there, but Hissy getting a lovely exit there. Could have
He's blinking
contention.
though, he's low on energy. Hissy could come back here if he uses a little bit more himself if he's got it.
He has the DRS, but he just doesn't seem to be close enough. Or maybe just, like he said with 10-10, just choosing not to fight. Being the sensible driver that he is. Oh, and 10-10 spun. 10-10's just spun. And we've got
Williams down.
Well, I think we've got a safety car. Because 10-10 hasn't got a front wing. We've got a VSC. And I think we're going to see a lot of pit stops here. Wiggles in.
Early people coming
Deflated
in. So Wiggles is in.
Out.
Deflated Wee is in. Joseph stays out.
Ross comes in. Hits it in. 10-10 obviously going to be in. Smaller Smiley staying out. Interesting. That guy following his teammates and may just be getting double sacked a bit.
Well.
Destin's...
That could save this race actually.
I'm not quite sure why. The top two stayed out anyway, but it has gone in. The
VSC is over, so we'll have saved some time.
Well, Deflated Wee and Mr. Wiggles got out literally just as the safety car went in, and Mr. Wiggles is already past Smaller Smiley. And I'm sure Deflated will be wanting to follow him if he wants to go for the win, but look at the gap now. Mr. Wiggles,
he's got
11 seconds
to
clear
Joseph. Him now. And it looks like that's what he's doing.
And he has done. Gets past.
Mind you, 0.6 of a second the gap between Wiggles and Deflated Wee, so actually it looks like it stays fairly neutral, the gap between them, I have to say.
The championship, I think it was about 23 points, 27 points behind. Currently gain 20.
So he'll gain 16 on 10-10 and 17 on John as this stands. So
well, he's going to get the lead now as Joseph Hales just pits. So he is currently gaining 23 points. So this is definitely what Wiggles likes to see anyway, as Tamino goes for another spin.
Smiley has come in.
And it's going to be close here between Joseph and IIRacing. Joseph is going under the pit lane. IIRacing is coming out now. And he's just ahead, but he is on cold tyres. And this could be contention for IIRacing to get in front for that podium.
And look at the difference that's making as you see him across the corner there. The crucial thing for Joseph Hales is that because you come into the pits, he'll have that little bit more energy. You can see him weaving to try and get some heat into the tyres. IIRacing is flashing behind, so he's almost out of energy.
Oh, and Joseph runs deep there, and that gives
a tiny bit of contact.
A bit of a squeeze there, and that could give Hissy a chance behind IIRacing, and he's going for the move. Around the outside of the Red Bull. Can he quite get the move done? Sticks it to the outside, gets very close to contact, but it is a very tricky corner to go around the outside there, and just stays behind for the time being. But IIRacing is right on the back of that Alpine and wants that podium.
These three are so close to each other. That's almost where the battle is now. It's become a two-horse race at the front between the Haas and the Mercedes, but the fight for the podium is really ramping up. Prevanel, I don't think will be able to do much given that he's on hard tyres, but however, coming to the end of the race, he should be mated with a chance as long as they don't get too far away from him.
Yeah, Joseph has really lost out on his chance of going for the win here. Down to P3 and 15 seconds off the lead now, so that safety car definitely ruined his chances, but the top two will be loving it.
The spin again in his Ferrari. It's far from ideal in terms of what he's doing, and a fight between John and the smaller Smiley around the hotel section. The McLaren's making it sticky as it comes round the inside.
Oh,
Lovely stuff there.
very close.
Smaller Smiley takes it, I have to be honest, going around the outside there. It's very rarely we get racing there, so brilliant stuff there from the Alfa Romeo. Maybe it's the livery reveal day that's given them a bit more spring in the step, I don't know.
Very good racing there, we'd like to see that.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. But John, crucially for him, 10-10, his championship rival, is now in 7th place with him only in 9th. He's got to clear this Alfa Romeo, and I've got a feeling he'll do it just about now. As up front, things get a little bit heated between Deflated Wheat and Mr. Wiggles. 4/10 between them now. 3rd, 4th, 5th covered by just over a second. Prev sitting comfortably in 6th. Let's see what 10-10 can do to catch him in 7th. He's on medium tyres, so it'll be a little bit faster.
IIRL keeps getting about a 10th and a half behind Joseph, but it just can't quite get close enough with the straight line speed.
It's a different kind of dirty air to last year, isn't it? Where you can get closer, but when you do get close, the dirty air is actually more intense than it was last year, it seems.
Loving that.
Let's back to Joseph Hales and IIRL. Here comes the Red Bull down into the next hole. The Alpine protects his inside line, which is brilliant. However, that's going to set him out. Well, the Red Bull out very nicely coming across the back straight, and that is the exit that IIRL needs if he wants to make that overtake work. Hissy goes round. It looks like he's made a bit of a mistake there as the Red Bull goes round the outside towards the outside of the left-hand corner. And, oh, that is so close there. Almost like synchronized swimmers. And
that is
from
absolutely beautiful. What a move.
That is move of the race. Move of the race.
That is brilliant from IIRL, and that gets him up into that podium position that he would be absolutely loving.
That's absolutely insane. What an overtake that was. You love to see it.
Wow. Flabbergasted.
That'll certainly take IIRL up in the championship. Absolutely gasping for energy.
Prev and 10-10.
And this is...
Oh,
yeah.
I thought a contact. Oh, I think there might have been slight contact there between 10-10 and Prev. 10-10 really wanted to get this move.
No, I think it looked like they just got away with it.
He's really wanting to get this move.
Now, Prev goes wide. So there we go. I think we'll see an overtake coming into the next straight. As you see the gap up front, it's still 0.3 of a second between IIRL and Joseph Hales. The others again in Sector 3. That, I believe, is Damon. Oh, it's 0.3 now between the Alpine and the Red Bull. This is exactly what Joseph Hale wants. But the exit's not quite there. He'll be 0.2 behind. And IIRL very wise to cover his line the way he has. But the exit he's got has just been brilliant there. Constantino, you have to be so much more wary of it. Coming into a no assist race because you don't have that reference point at which to brake.
I don't think
very clean driving.
I don't think Joseph could have been anywhere closer to IIRL without any bloody contact. Because the camera angle that we got, he was literally centimetres from hitting IIRL. 10-10. Gap is now 5 seconds, and if 10-10 wants to keep in front of John with his penalty, then he needs to get past Prev as soon as possible.
That's a very good point. That will change everything in terms of the championship as well. Another yellow was Sector 3. It looks like one of the Alfa Romeos has gone for a spin, and his name is Destined. Oh no! That's such a shame. There's contact there between... Oh, and the Red Bull and the Alpine. It's such a shame because they were keeping it so clean up at that point. But sadly for Joseph Hales, I think there may be
I think that might be a
Maybe
penalty.
an incident report to the stewards there, yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
And that,
Oh, it was such a shame because they was doing so well on keeping that clean up to that point.
this will be a loving that if Joseph gets a penalty. Oh, 10-10 now. Finally getting the move done on Prev. And like I was
he
saying,
needs to get a move on though if he wants to save.
But he could keep in front of John now, but it's whether he's going to be able to pull that 3-second gap to Prev.
2 laps to go. As we see, IIRacing and Joseph Hales battling yet again as the lead stabilises out in front. Yellow's in sector 1 now. There must be Richie trying to get out of the way. Oh, and here we go. Yep, he goes down to the inside. He's got the move done, but crucially, IIRacing, he's flashing there, so he hasn't got much in terms of energy. I think Joseph Hales, if he's got energy left, should have this covered, but he has a dreadful exit.
And look how close IIRacing is, but Joseph, I think maybe planting that ERS down, see him flashing now.
He's got to cover the inside, but can IIRacing pull off another brilliant outside overtake? No, he can't. And that keeps the Alpine in 3rd place. It's so close yet again. I have to say, apart from the slight contact earlier, those two
I've had a great race, absolutely brilliant. Mr. Wiggles, just your thoughts on Mr. Wiggles today, Spark?
Well, thoughts on Wiggles, he didn't quite have the qualifying he would have dreamed about. However, he's played this race to absolute perfection, and ever since he took the lead, he's virtually controlled the race. When he's had some opposition from Deflated Wee behind, it took a while for him to brake, and Deflated Wee finally dropped back, and he finally got that penalty as well. Flawless driving from Wiggles, which, as I can see him now, will certainly help him in the championship. Certainly a deserved winner. Let's see him bring across the final sector now. TD, UC office lap.
Yep, through the final sector then, through the long sweeping left-hander for the final time. Very strong drive from Mr. Wiggles. Going under the hotel section then, and this is going to be his first win of the season, I think. I don't think he won.
And crucially, 10-10 is behind John. Sorry to interrupt. As Wiggles comes across the line.
And he is going to take the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix crossing line to take the win in Abu Dhabi. Deflated Wee coming home in P2, a very strong race from Deflated. Joseph Hales is going to finish in front of IIRacing, but maybe going to be in a little bit of bother with the stewards. IIRacing P4 for the time being. Hit it with a brilliant race in P6. Prev with also an extremely solid race coming home in P6. John P7 then, getting past 10-10 on the last lap after having a spin. That guy P9 just behind his teammate by a few seconds. Smiley coming home in the last points position. Greg
just misses out on 9th.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. Greg just missing out on points once again, which is unfortunate for Greg. He won in the Mercedes with it's some very interesting dance moves. I don't quite know what that was, but we'll let it slide. Coming home in P1 with Deflated Wee coming home in P2. Joseph Hales in P3. IIRacing P4 with another solid drive from IIRacing, as we know. He is probably one of the most consistent drivers in the race. And I will try and do some quick calculations for you all now while we have a look at this. Mr. Wiggles will now be only 4 points. 3 points behind Miss 10-10. John is now only a point behind 10-10. That guy losing a little bit of what's the word? A bit of ground. That's it. And IIRacing gaining a bit of ground up to 39 points. And that'll certainly suit IIRacing, I imagine. But yeah, a very good race, I have to say.